Hello and welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that bit of footage of the pannier tank in action. So the one I've got here is in a Hornby Railways box. I think the model came along 72 and variations made it into 79. So this is R.051 GWR 060 Pannier tank locomotive. There is a price there. It's quite difficult to read. Sorry, the numbers are relatively easy to read. There's a name of a dealer and I haven't been able to make them out there. They're so very faint. But there's not a great deal on the back of the box here. So we'll just lift off the lid. No paperwork with this one, sadly. And I think this is possibly the wrong insert in the box, because this is not a smoking model, but it has the smoking sort of flash sticker there at the top. But beautiful and shiny. If you have a look at the insert picture there of how it appeared in the 72 catalogue, there's a gorgeous sort of deep shine on it, isn't there? Although the printing is very, very deep and possibly slightly filled in and a little on the brown side. But yeah, it's a quite a nice item. I don't know whether you noticed on the footage when one of the decals has slipped. I think I showed this a long time ago in a video. We do have the plated wheels. So let's see if I can just pinch this out. I think this plastic insert would have served many different models by the looks of it. It's got sort of little cutouts within it, and maybe it could have served quite a number of items. So we'll just pull this away. There we go. So I think it's definitely had a bit of action in its life. There we go. You can see that slip decal on the side there, but gorgeous and glossy. So definitely not a smoker, this. And I think the securing screw that we got on there, that doesn't look to be a Triang original, I don't think. It's sort of a brass domed head screw. I'll whip that out in a moment and we'll have a look at that. So a little bit dusty. I don't want to sort of attack the surface of this too much because there's a beautiful gloss on it. Nice coal load there. Let's have a look on the back. There's a little bit of a chip out of the where the buffer is pushed in there. Let's see if we can grab focus just under my finger there. See, there's a little bit of detail chipped away there. There's a tiniest bit of red paint. You probably never see that. In fact, you probably never really see it once it's at arm's length anyway, but it's just once you know these things are here, you tend to see them. There's a nice chimney cap there. All this detail hanging there. So I do have a matte version of this from the late 70s, but I'm unable to find it. I know I've run that one in a video before, but I was fairly confident that one has a reduced flange on the centre wheel, while this is flangeless. I think the later model has flanged and slightly finer scale type wheels. But let's just pop that down for a moment and have a quick look over the other items that we've got on the railway. So also this could have been found as model R.051 and R.041. I think so it could have been R51S if it was a smoker, and then R.051 a little later on, and then R.041. I'm not quite sure what the representation of the changes from R.051 to 41 are, but let's have a look at the horse box here. So this is R123. So I think earlier this is in a sort of deep reddy brown type of colour without GWR on it, long running model. But in this guise, I think in this sort of chocolate colour, 72 to 74. So white roof, lovely detail. And this has got the plastic chassis. I think early ones would have definitely had the metal chassis. We've got Triang in here. And I have just cleaned up these wheels. This unboxed one I have, and it's been sitting around in a box of unboxed items. So I've given this and the other one a little bit of a clean up. One of these has got a slightly yellower roof than the other. Although looking at this now, I can't tell whether this is the one with the yellowed roof or not. So let's just sort of pop that down and we'll have a look over the coach. So GWR brake, R333. I think I've got the right amount of threes there. Gorgeous looking things. No seating in this particular one. This has got open axle boxes. These came along 61. I think variations were made through until 72. I think pinpoint axles would have been a thing at some point, but quite nice. Definitely seen these running on the railway before. So nice and rattly, but it does the trick. And there, what do we have down here? We've got Triang and made in England, and I think we got the catalogue number. I think it's hiding under the bogey. I can see it when I glance down, but I don't think I can get an angle. Can I get an angle where we can read that? Possibly not. It's in there, and it has R.051 on it, but yeah, I can't quite get that to read. But yeah, great looking item. What I should have done is pulled off the LMS style one that I got on the railway with the single wheeler. We'll have a look when we jump over at the railway. Same model, although that's a fully painted finish, slightly different treatment with the buffers and a sort of upgraded couplings from the slightly later era. Sorry. So what I'll do is I won't embarrass myself trying to get the screw out of this on camera. So I'll whip the screw out of this. We'll have a swift look at the chassis and the motor. Yeah, so if you look at that screw, I don't think that's an original. I would be expecting that to be sort of a flathead black screw with a slight shoulder to go through the bodywork, and I think that's got thread right up to the base of the dome there. I don't think I can get that any closer and retain focus on it. But, you know, you don't see it. Once the model's underway, I could drift a little bit of black on there, but I think I'll probably leave that alone. So we'll pop that down and have a quick look over the gorgeously shiny bodywork here. So we've had a good look over there, but look where these plastic parts and the safety valves are there. We can see, if you look in there, see if we can keep focus. We've got where it protrudes through the body. I don't think it has Triang, Hornby or Hornby railways on it. I think this model was probably derived safely in the Triang Hornby period, but perhaps didn't make it into the catalogue. Well, I suppose the 72 catalogue was still technically Triang Hornby, but I think possibly the changeover was already sort of being worked through in management and so on. But yeah, fairly tidy, tiny bit dusty on the inside, the tiniest bit of oil splatter, as there usually is with these things, but all intact, fairly sort of light. So we'll pop that down, and then we'll just pick up this 060 chassis and we'll have a quick look at it. So it looks in fairly lovely condition. Nice brass worm there. We've got the plastic drive gear, pickup wipers either side, and we've got the plated wheels. I think we already said that, but the motor seems to be in predominantly original condition. All the things you'd expect to see with a motor of this age. So I think what we'll do, we'll get this on the rails. We'll have a quick look at it running with the top off, just because we have got the top off, and we'll see if we can have a little more fun. It does have the magnet adhesion, so it's not on all the wheels, which I can't tell which wheel it's on now. Let's get a screwdriver and yeah, so we've got magnet adhesion on that rear wheel there. Yeah, none on the front. So we've got some stick. We're going to get some stick to the track there, although I think from my previous playing with things with plated wheels, the plating tends to reduce the effectiveness of the magnetic pull. But I don't know whether that's just wheel slip or it sort of generally interferes with it. So I've brought these various bits and pieces back over, but well, let's just have a look at this coach. I've already undone it to save having to fiddle around with the couplings. So we saw this last week. I said at the time, this is the one that's got I think it's got the replaced wheels on it. At the time, I think I said it was the same moulding, or I thought it was the same moulding as the earlier GWR coach. But you can see there's a slightly different treatment with the buffers there. But I think, to all intents and purposes, this is pretty much the same coach that they brought back in. I can't remember the dates now. Late 80s into the mid 90s. I think I'll put the dates at the bottom of the screen, but I'm not sure whether those are the original wheels in there. But the other one sitting on the railway we saw running earlier in the video has got silver seals on it. So I'll get these things back on the rails, and then we'll have a little running. There we go, all on the rails, top off as we said, coach is back on. So let's give that a little power. Let's see if we can keep an eye on that. So that looks like a fairly nice thing, doesn't it? So completely different sound Don't know whether you remember the what it sounded like. Whoops, I'm bashing into something there with the bottom end of the gimbal. So just so we get a comparison of the sound, I'll back that back around to the that's not the best place to stop it, is it, behind that water crane? There we go. I'll back that back round to the where we came from, the station, and then we'll put the top back on, and we can see the difference in the sound that the body makes. It's got some quite interesting shapes, that pannier tank. And through we go. We'll just go back a little bit further onto the platform, I think. And we'll just nudge that forwards a little. Yeah, I don't think it's seen that much action. It's been played with, but hasn't had a great deal of action. There we go. Body's all back on. Let's see how she sounds with that all in place. It doesn't sound too bad, does it? And then backwards. So they always are going to sound a bit different. They sometimes sound completely different going backwards than they do going forward. There we go. So we'll just leave that one there, and then somebody asked me a question the other day, or suggested it would be nice to see this little tank locomotive from Hornby 00 to see if it would pull any extra coaches. I think I would just had it running with the one Hornby 00 suburban coach, but I don't have many more Hornby 00 coaches. But I thought this was quite a interesting rake, sort of lengthwise, for the 2 rail. So we'll open this point and we'll give that a go. So let's open some points. That should be both ends. Now I haven't got the controller plugged in. I forgot to do this. Right, let's plug this in. There we go. And I've left that set of controls on the floor. We'll grab that. Now ideally we'll get a little bit of power in there. We'll give that a go. So it's not too bad. These are all sleeved wheels, open axle boxes. So I think, just for comparison, we will whip the top off this and give this a go as well. So the other thing that makes a difference is the microphone used as well. So slight hesitation there. Microphone I'm using at the moment is one that I use when I'm recording voice and videos at the same time, and usually when I'm shooting sort of set pieces and stitching them together with no talking going on, just trains running, I'm just using the microphones built into the cameras, and they tend to jump for different sorts of sounds. So we'll just come back to this, and I'll just whip the top off there. There we go. Just whip the top off the 00 locomotive there. We've seen that in a video earlier. So it's got that interesting chimney cap which sort of comes off with the very long securing screw. So let's pop that down there, and we'll better not lose it. So I imagine these break quite easily. So there's the chassis. Lovely item. This is just so beautifully made. We'll dial in a little power, and we'll see how this goes, how it sounds really. obviously the further away you get, the quieter they get. But it can have quite a rasp, this model. There was a point round here where this stuttered a little, wasn't there? I can't remember which one it is. Maybe it's this next one that we're coming up to. Yeah, it slows down a little on that one, doesn't it? Beautiful mechanism. All right, we'll stop that there and get back to the main event. Let me pop those controls there. We're bound to pick up the wrong ones in a moment, I think. Right, just so that we haven't got any further complications, we'll close this loop up. There we go. So I think also somebody mentioned that they'd quite like to see the loop up here go the other way. So what have we got in here? So we've got the M7 sitting over there with those southern coaches. So we'll bring the GWR tank up here. So I'm hoping it'll climb. It does have the magnesium. It's not a terribly heavy load, this. So we'll switch over these points here. So we'll make that straight. And then we'll grab some power. And we'll see how we go. See if everything behaves itself. We do have the magnet adhesion on this model. Let's come back to this level so you can see it climbing up there rather effortlessly. I'm just going to go back down again and we'll see if we can have a look at the wheels. Actually, well, it really runs off going down there, doesn't it? So I think, will we see any of the wheels over those side walls? An effortless moving off with just this amount on here. It's not really challenging it at all. These 060 chassis from Triang were really powerful little things, especially once the magnet adhesion was put into place. So let's calm this down a little as it comes over this set of points. There we go. So I think what we'll do, we'll take the M7 down and we'll put that somewhere interesting on the railway. So we'll make that straight. Let's see if the M7 will come out to play for a moment. So I think this will charge off a fair bit as it comes down the hill. I'm sort of over anticipating here as it begins to run away. There we go. So I think what we'll do, we'll just we'll move this onto this long siding here. So we'll back it out of the station. Points are still good for that. And then we'll get back to that little gorgeous GWR tank locomotive. There we go, one on top of the other. And we'll just change this point here. Correct direction and everything. That must mean something else is about to go wrong. And we'll just pop that in there. There we go. We can see the whole thing there. I'm sure there's a slight whistle comes from this. I think it's the wipers on the wheels. It's not continuous, but definitely there's an element of that. Let's make that closed. And then let's bring this the other way around. So we'll make that there, and we'll send this back around the loop, and we'll bring it down the hill backwards. So a little bit of power. over all my dodgy track joints. And we're going to have to stop it somewhere around there and change the points, and then remember to go the opposite direction with the controls. So let's change that there to straight. And then let's get that to run. Am I going to get the correct direction here? I'm not going to get the correct direction. I was reminding myself to do that, and obviously I've done it wrong. Must be because I got the points to throw in the correct direction when I was parking the M7. So let's see if this runs away. Bit of friction in the curves. Yeah. And then a gentle stop there. And I think if we whip open the points at the other end of that platform there, and we'll get that underway. So let me just concentrate for a moment and get the right ones in the right direction. There we have it. So let's give that a run around. It's a shiny thing, isn't it? There we go. So you do get the odd rasp from the bodywork. I don't know whether there is an element of rattle on the body there. So let's just bring that around to the other station again. There we go. What do we reckon? Just to finish off once back round backwards, do you think? I think so. So let's go this way. Yeah, the sound changes on it. Just out of interest, that's about that much on the controller. There we go. So why don't we just get that onto the inside line? I think we should definitely have a run on the inside line with this before we go. Trying to keep the video down a little bit, but it seems daft not to reverse it through that tunnel, past the points under the elevated section. A tiny tell of a hesitations there, hiding behind the section here. So let's see if we can go for some control on the points. So I think it's this one. Obviously I've grabbed a hold of completely the wrong one now. I looked when I was walking down to that, and then looked where I was putting the camera. Oops. And I've got a different point switch altogether. So this time, let's go. There we have it. And then we need to go, this one over here also needs to go curved. And that one needs to go straight. So now ideally, that Hornby 00 train will stay put because I locked it into the loop. So we'll stop that there and we'll seal that in. We'll just go back over to the switches. So we need to do that one, that one. I'll probably leave that one alone, because that's the main route through there. We'll leave it set for curved. So promise, one last run around now. We'll just give that a little power, Actually, I'm on a different controller now, so I need to swap controllers. There we go. I'd forgotten I'd split it into 2 railways. Past the M7. Past the dismantled 00 train. But I think that's probably it for this week. Thanks again for looking in. If you look back next time, we'll try and have something else interesting to look at. Goodbye now.